Druids are the guardians of nature, who harness the power of the world around them to preserve balance and protect life. Druids have unmatched versatility on the battlefield. This is in part because Druidism is much more than a fighting discipline. Druids harness nature's raw energy for an incredible breadth of offensive and defensive abilities, as well as to restore life to the wounded. Through communion with nature and the demigod Cenarius, Druids are supernaturally endowed with the gift of shapeshifting. With experience, Druids can unleash nature's raw energy against their enemies, raining down celestial fury on them from a great distance, binding them with enchanted vines, or ensnaring them in unrelenting cyclones. They are deeply in tune with the animal spirits of Azeroth. As master shapeshifters, Druids can take on the form of a variety of beasts, morphing into bears, cats, moonkins, and even ancient trees. This flexibility allows them to fill different roles during their adventures, tearing enemies to shreds with their claws one minute and surveying the battlefield from the sky the next. Being the only class with 4 different specializations and being able to fill all 3 role types, including both ranged and melee DPS, they are truly a jack of all trades and a great class overall for people who like to mix things up. Guardian Druid is a fairly straightforward tank specialization, but still an amazing option with how much damage mitigation they have with their almost permanent and stackable Iron Fur, survival instincts, and their massive health pools. On top of this, they have access to insanely powerful cooldowns in the form of Incarnation and Rage of the Sleeper, both being able to make you almost unkillable while at the same time putting out so much damage on AoE that you'll be topping the meters in Mythic Plus. Feral rips and tears through enemies, having rogue-like gameplay, building and spending combo points on huge ferocious bites. Feral has been neglected over the past few expansions, but are looking very promising going into Dragonflight, with their damage profile being somewhat changed to once again rely on bleeds and damage over time effects. A very nice change considering that consistent and considerable AoE damage has been something they've struggled with for a while. Balanced Druids historically have had it pretty good. They have increased range, good burst damage, and sustained AoE with a dot playstyle, tankiness in both PvE and PvP. They excel at dealing consistent damage to spread out targets, multi-dotting them with Sunfire and Moonfire, all while raining down a starfall to everything in their range. They don't suffer much from target capping, so if you like to pull big in Mythic Plus, or farm a lot of enemies in the open world, you'll probably fall in love with this spec. Resto Druids are a welcome addition to any group, providing the ability to cover the group in heal over time effects or HOTS. This is particularly sought after because it allows a proactive playstyle of buffing your allies with these HOTS before large amounts of damage even go out. Being able to cast up to 4 different HOTS on any player beforehand means you've already put in half the work and can focus your attention on anyone who needs some extra care, possibly making use of various externals you have, like Ironbark or an instant heal with Swiftmend. All specs have access to good and frequent uses of defensives, with Barkskin being on only a 1-minute cooldown. You'll rarely find yourself in trouble, and in those cases, shapeshift forms are not locked to your spec, so in order to survive you can always just hop into bear form for a few seconds. Druids are mandatory to have in a raiding environment, due to easily having one of the most powerful major cooldown toolkits in the entire game, including the ability to battle res a fallen teammate during combat, reposition enemies with Typhoon, innovating healers to assist with mana efficiency, and even bring Stampeding Roar to give all your allies in range a large movement speed buff for 8 seconds. This is incredibly useful in a raid setting as it can assist in the shuffling of your entire group from one side of a boss room to the other, and even in Mythic Plus will help you move from pack to pack with its short cooldown. Druids also have access to a talent called Heart of the Wild, which will allow you to greatly increase your affinity to any of the other specializations you aren't currently using. This can lead to heroic moments where you can fill in for a healer or a tank for up to 45 seconds if something goes wrong, as well as vice versa. If healers and tanks get a moment to put out damage, they can become considerably more potent. Druids have performed consistently well throughout most of Shadowlands, with at least one of the specs being prominent in the top level of play across PvE and PvP in every season. This trend is expected to continue into Dragonflight. On screen is a first look at the Druids tier sets and bonuses in the first raid of Dragonflight, Vault of the Incarnates. If you're looking for a class that can truly do it all, then look no further than the Druid. Comment what you'll be maining in Dragonflight, and if you can't decide, check out the next class on screen now.